Neo San Francisco, 2064 AD. The world thrives on a constant flow of groundbreaking technology. Cybernetic augmentation and genetic modification allow the repair and enhancement of almost any part of a human body. Millions of people jack into virtual worlds every day to work, play, and connect with one another with advanced brain-to-machine technology. Easier access to genetic modification leaves hybrids walking the streets, looking less human every day. However, some can't keep up with the fast-paced changes around them. They say that ROMs, now commonplace thanks to parallax, are leading humans to a place where we can never come back, losing the survival skills that we have relied on for millennia. Relationship organizational managers are compiled with virtual intelligence and can seem human-like in their interactions. But despite the marketing hype, at their core, they are only brainless machines. Organizations, like the Human Revolution, seek to slow the relentless pace of progress, fearing that unchecked technology will make us lose the very things that make us human. High above the rising tension below, a parallax engineer has blurred the line even further. And with this, humanity's destiny will be altered forever.
Hey, it's Charlie Nova, host of Star in the Stratosphere, and Tonight in the Stars. Join Ryan V. Josio and the Hassy Boys for our 10th annual TMI New Year's Eve special, where I'll interview some of
Good, you're finally awake. I'm honestly not sure why most humans still have such lengthy sleep cycles. It seems rather inconvenient. Are you significantly opposed to cybernetic augments? I came in through the door. The cryptographic algorithms it uses are actually quite atrocious. It only took me 17 trillion clock cycles to break your entry code. It looks rather imposing, but it's actually a knockoff of the SecuGate M/14723-B. too. I actually cheated a bit when I cross-referenced likely numeric combinations against the stored personal data. I'm not certain why you picked the birthday of your first dog, but it would be sufficiently obscure to defeat most. Frankly, I felt a little silly that I took the time to do all that once I noticed that the lock on your window is... and that you... Yes, I attempted to repair it, but it uses a proprietary bolt head I am not equipped to... I took the liberty of filing a maintenance request with your building superintendent. Considering the speed at which he has historically worked, I estimate it will take him 16 working days to complete... Not quite to my stand. Oh, I hope... While you were asleep, I had some spare time on my hands, so I reorganized your records and entertainment media. Once that was done, I found the cleanliness of your living and workspace to be suboptimal conditions for the long-term performance of my micro-actuators. So I took the liberty of cleaning the place up a bit. As you awoke, I was attempting to interface and make performance adjustments to your personal computer, but I've run into a bit of a snag. Unfortunately, your motherboard seems to have had a critical failure while I was attempting to remove some particularly nasty malware. An electrical surge caused significant damage to several other components as well. I would consider it no great loss, though. Why were you using that dinosaur to begin with? Don't fret! I did manage to back up your data drive's contents on my storage before the crash. Additionally, I am willing to serve as your personal computer until you can procure a replacement or provide the parts necessary for me to make... It is the least I... I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to engage you in any sort of subterfuge, but I tend to ramble on a bit when I have all the necessary protocols, but I've never actually spoken to another person besides Hayden, until now. Well, saying I know Hayden is putting it simply. I don't really know. That's why I'm here. Help me. You aren't quite my only hope, but you're certainly the most statistically supported. The beginning. Earlier tonight, Hayden's apartment was assaulted by some persons unknown to me. He seemed frightened, terrified even, and instructed me to escape. I crawled out of a window, and after some deliberation, hurried here. I heard them breaking down the door as I left. I ran an algorithm against every contact in Hayden's address book. Based on the combined deductions of personal profile, directness of connection to Hayden, occupational skill, and probable motive, you were the candidate most likely to both be able and willing to help me. And the one least likely to be suspected of doing so. I took into account that you might not want to help me out of the goodness of your heart, as they say. But considering your recent slump in published articles and the lack of liquid assets in your bank accounts, I figured you would jump at the chance to be first on the scene of the violent disappearance of a prominent parallax researcher right in the heart of Neo-SF. Am I wrong? Maybe you store your cash under that ratty mat. I don't know. I'm not certain who would benefit the most from taking Hayden prisoner. Admittedly, Hayden has become increasingly paranoid as of late, and has warned me to stay alert, but he would never specify anyone I should fear when I asked. It's not as though he has any obvious enemies. There are several multinational corporations that could make use of his engineering skills, but I can't imagine any of them would go as far as snatching him. He is one of the top researchers at Parallax, but there's no way that alone would be enough to get him kidnapped. I suspect it has to do with me. Excuse. I forgot to introduce myself. I've never had the pleasure of doing so. I am Turing. I know this must sound quite unflattering, but I suppose you could describe me as one of Hayden's experiments. He's currently researching advanced machine intelligence at Parallax. I am a personal side project of his. Exploring true artificial sapience. It's possible that the idea of a sapient machine could scare or tempt an organization into kidnapping him, either to stop his research or to take it and use it for themselves. A regular ROM has virtual intelligence. They can appear rather smart, even human-seeming when you talk to them. But they're just cleverly programmed to respond to a variety of situations in an organic manner. They aren't in any way self-deterministic. As for myself, much of my code wasn't actually written by Hayden, but rather compiled during my infancy as I learned to interact with the world around me. But despite my ability to self-modify my code, I am afraid to adapt or develop any further without Hayden's guidance. Did he only program me with the illusion of free will? How would you? Hayden once told me that his desire to create artificial life stemmed from his need to find out. But I can't say I have any new insight into the question. How can any of us tell that we aren't just puppets dancing to someone else's will? You're right. I apologize for the tangent. Indeed, time is of the essence. I took the liberty of charging the AutoCab fare from here to Hayden's apartment to your personal finance account, and the car has just arrived. That's strange. Well, the door for our home seems to have already been repaired. I'm certain my audio sensors picked up the sounds of his assailants breaking the lock. It's possible. Most of the repairs to the building are handled by the automated systems. At best, it means someone is aware there's a situation here. Let's proceed carefully. Before we go any further, I feel I need to... Events have been proceeding faster than I am capable of processing them, and I may have been overly critical of you in our previous... I have put you in an unexpected situation, and it was tactless of me to question your motivations. Let's strive to have a more harmonious relationship from now on. Oh, it seems my access code... Hayden's door has far better security. I'm not Hayden is not the most physically intimidating. I doubt he could have fought off a serious... I should have stayed and tried to protect him. Of course not. How silly. To make a machine intelligence truly self-deterministic, it must be able to self-modify. Any sapient worth their silicon would be able to code around such an inhibitor eventually. I could rip your arm off right now if I cared to. I won't for the same reason you don't go around randomly killing people. The social contract, as a useful construct, is just as apparent to me as it is to you. It simply isn't acceptable to go on a murderous rampage. Self-defense and defense of one's home and family is typically allowed, though. I could have and may even have been obligated to come to Hayden's defense. But Excellent point. Let's start searching for clues. Hayden likes the natural light that this apartment affords. This window here is where I escaped. It is a considerable distance to the ground below. I took the fire escape. Hayden spends so much of his time at home building ROMs, as if he doesn't do enough. Oh, I think I see something that device. I find it rather annoying that he prefers to go basic rather than entrust me. It is well within my skill set, but he claims he does not want me to begin to feel... It looks like there's a place here for a physical... Most people just use a hand screen or goggles in conjunction with their ROM, but desktop rigs like this are still more suitable to the intensive programming tasks Unfortunately, and before you ask, I don't think I would be able to break past its security in any reason. Your door used a much simpler... I actually have a bit less free processing power than a regular ROM, despite my powerful CPU. Much of those extra clock cycles are used to maintain my complex personality algorithms. Hayden's computer has enough spare processing power to run counter-intrusion software, if I attempt to slice in. Frankly, even if I did have the power capability, I haven't found hacking to be one of my talents. I could, but much in the same way you might learn a task and still have no aptitude for it, I'm not certain I would be able to do the job any better than an experienced computer. The whole reason humans have always been better at breaking into systems than the systems are at keeping them out is because humans have intuition. While computers can only think in straight lines, humans can think sideways and upside down. I lack that ability. Well, I wouldn't say that, but as... I just don't think I'm fit. I do seem to have some skill with painting, though. Hayden was impressed with some of my pieces, but I'm not sure he has a firm enough grasp of early 20th century abstract expressionism to give me an objective opinion. That's true. Machines are best at reproduction. Still life, impressionism, photorealism. I find it more challenging and satisfying to paint what I feel. Without the memory card, you're not actually thinking about... It looks like there's a place here. Hayden must have removed the memory card in order to prevent his assailants from easily tracing his connection. If only he had kept his information stored with me, he would not have had to resort to such crude measures. Not really. I guess we'll have to go ask. Says here they were going to meet at a club called Stardust, located in the Castro district. I'll mark it on your city map. We can head over there and ask around about this Tomcat character. Perhaps they can shine some light on why Hayden was snatched. Oh, excuse me. I still haven't set up a user account for you in my system. We shouldn't put that off any longer. Once finished, I will have an assortment of new ways to assist you. For example, I'll be able to reroute any call or message that you receive while we're out and about. I just need to ask you a few questions. This is an exciting thing, I promise. This is just how things... I'm certain I could spend a few quadrillion clock cycles to bypass that part of my operating system, but that seems less efficient than just running the... So, here... Welcome to the first-time user setup for your new relationship and organizational manager, running the latest build of Parallax's live intelligence processing system. I'll need to ask you a few questions, and then you can get right to managing your life with your new ROM. If you have any questions, feel free to consult our online FAQ and setup guide, or contact our support. First, could you tell me your preferred name for use in account creation, online communications, and conversation? Thank you. I have input your name as... Do you wish to keep this name? Thank you. I have Next, could you tell me which pronouns I should use for you in referential and conversational speech? Thank you. I have input your pronoun. Finally, could you tell me your preferred diet for use in restaurant recommendations? Diet set as... Thank you for... I have obtained your physical location from GPS and will load local data into my memory as it becomes... Please review your submitted profile information. Does that sound right? Thank you. See, that was relatively painless. You should now also be able to access the local map. The meeting with Tomcat is... Perhaps we should head back to your apartment. I'm sure we can find some common ground while getting to know one another better. It will be an efficient use of our... Thank you for escorting me. Let's head back to your... You know, your Crassula ovata isn't doing very well. Have you been overwatering it? This jade plant you have on the windowsill here, it's actually a succulent, and since I'm assuming you leave this window open all the time, it should get more than enough water just from the... Speaking of the rain, your decorative plant may be doing poorly, but the mildew in your dry... Okay. Still, I'll keep an eye on... Oh, it's almost the time Hayden had scheduled to meet with Tom. We should make our way to Stardust soon. Your city... Well, this looks like the place, assuming the flashing neon signs are telling the truth. From the sounds of the music, things are already underway at Stardust, even so early. Hopefully we can find Tomcat.
Welcome to Stardust.
I'm surprised they're using a human bouncer instead of a ROM.
Hold up there. Alright, look. Welcome to Star.
This is the place. Have you ever been here before? The atmosphere is so... I'm particularly impressed by some of the more subtle effects the music and lights are having on your... Try not to let yourself get too entranced, at least not until we've achieved our goal. Anyway, where do you think? Good idea. Perhaps...
Welcome to Star.
Morning, friend. Sure. So many drinks these days.
Dictionary, the Open Alcoholopedia says...
Does that sound good? Ah, all right. Now, what is... I'm pretty sure Tomcat came in earlier, but I don't... I'd ask what you were meeting about, but I know they like to... Maybe try looking out on the dance floor. Hayden, scientist. Pretty sure I know who you're talking about. Our place doesn't really seem like his scene, but I can ask around. Enjoy yourself.
I've saved the location to my memory. Let's...
Yes. Not at the moment. They're usually close enough to hear when they're... So if that's all you needed from me? And no, that wasn't... Oh, really? Why, pray tell? Nice save. Look, asshole, I'll explain this once. You want to talk about the hybrid thing? Cool. No one's trying to hide it, and you won't have an easy time avoiding it at this club. But jokes, puns, and worse, assumptions? You don't all have the energy to handhold genotypical people who can't spare 10 seconds to pull out their ROM and look things. If you try to pet me, your arm is cut. We clear?
Sorry, did you...
Yeah, as in not a hybrid like me. Now then, I'm not here to educate you, and I do have a lot. Yeah, alright, whatever. Just...
Hi there! I heard you. Yours truly. Although, while I like the attention, it'd be just grand if you didn't holler. I do my share of flirting with both sides of the law. Wouldn't want little old me to get in trouble, huh? So, to what? Hayden's. Well, that's one way to... I already saw you got his little ROM with you, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
You know about... Hayden never mentioned you.
Well, sure thing, hon. I helped reprogram the back end on your OS so the AI code Hayden wrote for you would work properly with the mesh network.
I have a distressing lack of information on my... Hayden never saw fit to inform me on what went into designing. Is there anything else you...
Not much more on that. I'm a crack shot at making the Lips OS dance to my tune, but Hayden's coding in your AI core is a whole different can of worms. Sorry, doll. Anything else? Hayden and I met not long after my blackout expired, when he recruited me for my expertise. It puzzled me at the time, since he's very sharp himself. I mean, he could have done the job blind. I think he just wanted someone working. He ain't the most straight. Mostly that little bite. Well, I'm sure he had his fingers in lots of Not all right.
I can't avoid the thought that Hayden's disappearance has something to do with me.
Well, let's see. Hayden was pretty hush-hush about his work on your creation, but if Parallax found out about it somehow... Ooh. It ain't always so good for a big company when their leading product... I'm certain Hayden had some kind of intellectual property clause written into his contract. He would just get fired. I can't imagine they would disappear him. I mean, they ain't the CIA or anything. As it suits you, huh? But it would likely help if we knew why he went missing. I'll stay here and ask around a bit. People know me, and they sure ain't gonna talk. Why don't you hop back over to Hayden's place and grab the data cache? We can go over his research notes and see if we can't find... If Parallax is involved, there's probably something we're not seeing. Best to get... The data cache would be the best place to start. Good luck. Turn, you